Hello, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Let's play chess. Okay. Okay. We might go over both of these games. I might review both of these games. For right now, we're going to start with the game that occurred first. And let's see. What do we see here? This is called the Slav Defense. It's very popular against the Queen's Gambit. Probably about equal with classical Queen's Gambit decline, to be pawn to e6. But I play pawn to c6, and all these moves have been seen before. It's an interesting move here by White to play bishop to f4. When I play bishop to f5, I'm not really concerned about the I'm not really concerned about the capture at d5 because I just capture back with my c pawn and I still have the potential for two central pawns. There's some symmetry in this position and some asymmetry, but we just have to know here with black to move. You probably want to cover the a4 to e8 diagonal first before anything else. You don't have to. You could. There's other moves. E6 is fine, but get your knight usually to c6, as torch indicates. Knight c6 is the usual move. I felt adventurous and played knight b to d7, as you see here, and it gives White a little more space if the queen's going to attack from a4, or if the bishop's going to attack from b5. On the other hand, there's another it's more well protected here. Consider back here that on c6 the knight's protected once, on d7 the knight's protected once, twice, thrice, and 4 times. So we're saying we do not want to deal with any monkey business on c6. That used to be a loaded term. I don't think it is anymore. So knight to d7, it just keeps things in sort of this plain view. See, there he is. Well, I captured on d3. I felt okay. I had to think for a minute. Is this the type of piece trade I want? And then I thought, yes, this is White's good bishop and Black's bad bishop. Not that it's all that bad. He's outside the soon-to-be completed pawn chain for Black here on f5. So it's not all that bad of a bishop, but I said, hey, at very least it's good bishop for bad bishop. I thought of bishop to g4, and then I thought that White can answer the attack on the queen while also developing, and we'll always have h3 in case the f3 knight becomes under siege by methods I'm not sure. Because my knight isn't gonna get there anytime soon. I thought about bishop g4, but even after a awkward defense like pawn to f3, then even then White is fine. I might go to h5, and then it's booted back again to g6. It's its own thing down there, but I played to trade the light squared bishops off immediately. e6 is one of those moves you make so that you can make the next move. It's not the craziest awesome move. It's passive maybe, but it's still, you can see here, I and the computer agree, the best move. This is computer best move, and I agree as well. Black now has the strong pawn chain from f7 to d5, and the bishop's ready to escape in some kind of normal fashion rather than a fianchetto. That would be actually not all that bad. Hitting at white's pawn wall at d4, but if d4 ever gets knocked away, then it might be a strong bishop here on g7. That's something to consider. But I wasn't in the mood for that. I played e6, and the bishop's going to escape in a most regular way. Bishop b4, even with a pin against a pin to the king against white's c3 knight. Castles, exchanges and castles. Well, we have pretty much a even game here, with white to move slightly then in white's favor for having the move even. Bishop d6. Is this a one-off attack against my rook on f8? I've been trying to avoid those in my own play recently, for the very reason that sometimes they can be met quite easily. Rook to e8. Now, white has a bishop on d6 that at a moment's notice can be brought under discovered attack. It happens to also attack the queen on d3 here, but this bishop needs to be brought. White will need to take tempo of initiative out to play bishop g3 at some point to keep things safe. Or I believe white found some creative ways of doing it anyway. This is a game before. Yeah, no, but this bishop ends up being the material difference. For instance, a move like a3. White is planning bishop b4 perhaps, but a3, that bishop's already covered there. This pawn doesn't do all that much on a3 that it wasn't doing on a2. It's one less square for your bishop to go to, and the bishop belongs on g3. I mean, you could say it has great scope cutting in towards black's king side on b4, but yeah, I think a3 is not a great. I agree with Torch. A3 is just not a good move. I'm kind of critical of it. I'm sorry to say, my friends, but there's not much all that good about it. So I carried on a direct attack on the bishop at d6, and my knight's on a fabulous outpost. And c4 shows some confusion, and I capture the bishop on d6. Now I'm a bishop ahead. I'm a minor piece ahead. Actually, as it turns out, I'm a knight ahead. Let's make it this knight since he's under peril. I'm a knight ahead and ready to take up a great spot on c4. Get my queen into a more menacing position. And black has the, at the end of the day, black has the extra move. So mate in 3 here. We would think queen to f1, then queen to e1, although I think maybe there somehow white escapes the mate in 3 with like h2, queen takes f1 check, king to h2, and then it's queen to h1 checkmate, so a move longer than indicated by Torch. Let's find how we do that in 3 moves rather than I believe I took 4 moves there. I'm interested to see perhaps the rook captures is an automatic recapture, then when the queen is positioned on d2 she can either She can either affect checkmate on f2, or if the rook wants to make uh, an issue out of the second rank, then she can move somewhere like queen to e1. And not quite. Queen to d1 or c1. Alright, so let's show this. Queen to e1. No, we're going with rook takes f1. Queen to d2. My opponent didn't make an attack against the checkmating square, but I would say that, the white might make a little bit of things out of rook to b2, and then black is still controlling the mate count with queen to d1 checkmate. That's one way. The other way, that I might have, what I was planning to play in the game, I don't know. I was between the two, frankly, but I might have played queen to e1. I'm picking up at least the queen here, and the knight happens to be covering the g3 square, so then queen to h1 or queen to g1, they're both checkmate. And I have no real preference between the two, so I'll play queen to g1 here. I believe that goes. Does that still get it within 3 moves? I think that takes 4 moves. Right? 1 black move, 2 black moves, 3 black moves. So no, okay, both approaches are equally quick. And just to make sure. So that's 3. And that's 3. All right. Well, this was a great game to play. I thought my opponent played well. I thought I played better. So I was glad for the win. And good game. This is the most recent game I completed. We're going to take a look at whether I want to review this or not. Probably would. Usually when I say that, we end up reviewing it. So, some mistakes in the early going here. The queen, let me tell you that when I played queen takes e5, I thought I was going to get an off balance but equal trade of material. Even after rook to e1. I was counting on my queen being captured for the material, and then I would have. Let's do this in a practice. I'll force white's hand. So to force white's hand, we play like that, and now black has, for a moment, material equality. Though I think this knight is pinned enough that the pawn. White's pawn will move to f4 and win the knight as well. So this is not a game I would like to play as black. But I got a bit of a break. Yeah, but a huge break there. My opponent donated his queen back, And so with the piece up, I just plowed through like you would normally. Safe king and spot opportunities, uh, direct trades of material. I made this move. It's a brilliant move. Let me explain that it's mostly because if rook takes c2, then rook to e1 is checkmate. So it centralizes a rook, and that's how that is. The computer might see this as a type of sacrifice. The bishop on c2 is considered a sacrifice because for that moment, after if white were to capture on c2, I would be down a bishop and back into the hole in terms of material. Then one moment later, or some period of time when I played the right move later, rook to e1 is checkmate. So the bishop is considered to be a sacrifice piece. And we're able to use the mate threat to reconnoiter. I love that word. Not certainly even know what it means, but we're going to use the mate threat to reposition the bishop, and not just any kind of reposition. We're going to, as I threaten the knight, I'm undermining a defender from d6. My opponent finds some creative ways to muddy the waters, and to good effect, as when I play king to f7. The progress bar shows that this was a error. I should have taking some time to notice. Knight at c4 is hanging, and if I just step out of check in any kind of safe way, the bishop at e5 is hanging too. It's the move order that rustles things with the way I chose to approach the situation. I mean, I could give away the exchange here, but actually I could give away the exchange here to settle things. Black can do better even than that. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Target. Human. Mission. Destroy. Throw back Police Academy. Yeah, so here a move like king to g6 is fine. We pick up a full piece ahead of the 2 points of material. No, you don't. I'm not sure we do, Jordan. We'll at least get some value for our dollar here. Anyway, in this variation, black is doing well, quite well. However, was in the actual game, I played king to f7 instead of the important and critical move, king to g6. I think king to h7 would have been fine as well. Actually, maybe even better if we're getting away from the principle would be just get myself away from the scope of the knight. The bishop's going to be hard to get away from that. This is the long range piece, but if I play king to h7, then this is a more clear road to victory, perhaps. There's still that. There's still the fork from c6. All right, black's doing well enough. He's down a pawn, but has an extra piece. So I had to climb back into things. It, yeah, this is kind of tough from the other side. With 4.1 seconds left, I'm looking for whatever the, if there's a way to end it quick, that's the way I'm going to go. Even if the way to end it long is almost guaranteed, right? Almost guaranteed. No, because I have 4.1 seconds left. And after pawn to h3, rook to b1 is check. And I thought, for a moment, I thought he's going to wiggle out of it with h2. And then I thought, no, he's not. And then I played rook to b1 check, king to h2, and rook to h1 is checkmate. I snatched a win from the jaws of defeat. So that felt good. All right. Okay, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Have a great night.